Thank you so much to everybody that took a few minutes to watch that first video and share a little bit of your excitement with me. I am so ecstatic to kick off the next make along. It is going to be our best yet. I have a lot up my sleeve for this one. So if you missed that first video, I want to encourage you to go watch it. We covered a lot of ground. You don't want to miss it. I'll link to it below. Okay, entertain me for a minute. Picture yourself confidently tackling new knitting projects, trying out techniques you've always felt intimidated by but wanted to explore, and finishing those projects with a huge sense of pride and accomplishment. Think about how empowering it would feel to overcome those moments of frustration when you're stuck on a specific technique or facing a mistake you made. Instead of feeling alone or overwhelmed, you find yourself supported by our expert coaches and our community that cheers you on and helps you solve any issue in real time. Imagine getting stopped in the grocery store or on the street or wherever you frequent normally and having strangers come up to you and ooh and ah over your beautiful handmade project. It happens all the time and it's the best. This is where your knitting experience becomes more than just a hobby. It becomes a source of joy, a way to express your creativity, and a way to slow down and de-stress from the ups and downs of daily life. Imagine the peace and contentment that come from having a consistent making practice that fits seamlessly into your busy schedule, helping you to unwind and find joy and creativity amidst the chaos of the world that we live in, that we're all subject to. This transformation is about moving from frustration to accomplishment, from isolation to vibrant community, and from doubt to confidence. It's all within your reach, and I am so excited. I am so excited to help you achieve it, and I'm honored to help you achieve it too. So just in case you missed that first video, I am Amy Small. I am the owner and founder of Knit Collage, a business I started 14 years ago. Over those 14 years, I have taught thousands of students from all over the world, everything from how to knit a basic scarf to knit their first sweater and all the projects in between. This will be my 16th time hosting a knit-along, and they're a little bit like our Super Bowl. I always use this reference because we work on them behind the scenes for months and months. Bringing these patterns to life is a labor of love, as well as making sure we have all of our new yarns in time for you. Together, we will be knitting 8 different designs in community over a 6-week time frame. Along with a rough schedule, you'll get access to a video course for each of those designs, as well as 3 live coaching calls per week at all different times with myself and our 2 in-house expert coaches, Pia and Cheryl. So my experience has shown me that the key to success is not about learning new techniques, but about surrounded by a supportive and immersive learning environment. Within our knit-along experience, our coaches and community, not to mention our detailed video tutorials, are all there with one goal in mind. And that goal is to support you to finish with a project that you adore. Through these knit-alongs, I have seen firsthand the incredible transformations that happen when knitters are given the right tools, guidance, and support. I am super excited to share this approach with you so that you can elevate your knitting journey and experience some of the incredible benefits that I felt along the way too, and that the community has felt as well. So today, my plan is to go deeper into our yarns. We're going to talk about those briefly, and then we're going to dive deep into each of the 8 style options that we'll be knitting and crocheting. As part of this knit along, I mentioned this already, you get a video course on how to knit or crochet that design from start to finish. Many of the past participants say this is their absolute favorite part and what helps move the needle from unfinished project to finished project. They are yours forever. Before we move on to talk about those designs, I want to share about the power of these community making and learning events from one of our past participants. So let's meet Kelly, who recently joined our mini knit-along challenge, the Faye Fringe Bag Challenge that we hosted in March. Hi Knit Collage, what did I enjoy most about this challenge? Well, there were too many things to count, but here are just a few. One, I learned so much. A new cast on, new stitches, new cast off, and so much more. Two, the video lessons were the absolute best. They were clear and concise and so easy to follow. Three, the yarns, they were each beautiful and unique. Four, but the most wonderful part of the challenge was that it allowed me to tap into my creativity, which was lost for a bit. But because of this challenge, I found it again. I want to knit more, use more color, be okay with mistakes, and enjoy the process. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't wait for our next knit along from Kelly. So I love that. And that's just one of the amazing pieces of feedback we get every time we run one of these knit alongs. Okay, let's dive into our yarns and how they are made and by whom. We work with a team of 18 women in Punjab, India, that makes our yarn. So many of our yarns, like the daisy chain that I'm wearing here, is lovingly hand spun by this team. And some of them are machine made. We'll talk about the Serenity Boucle, our machine made yarn, and some of them just have some handmade element, like our Wildflower, which is screen printed and then laser cut into strips to be made into yarn. So many of them have a handmade element. So I want to talk about the process of hand spinning a yarn like daisy chain. So this is how it starts out. We start with fiber. We have a fiber recipe in all different colors. It is sent through a hand carding machine that we hand crank. And this is where we really paint with the fiber. We get to be free and do whatever we want. This is what you can't achieve on a big yarn making machine. From there, the fiber goes to the spinner. At the same time, we have women that make all of the trims and create a little trim bundle for each skein of yarn. And this includes crocheted trims, crocheted flowers, metallic sparkle flowers, threading, all sorts of different trims, fabrics and threads. We have so many different trims we work with that go into our yarn. So one bundle of those trims is then combined with the fiber given to the spinner, and she will spin the yarn into a skein. It's a very long process. From there, the yarn is either washed or steamed and set into place, and then quality checked, labeled, and packed up to come to us. So it's a long process to bring them to life, but it is one that I love so much because it allows us to really get free with the yarn. And when you're knitting the daisy chain yarn or a yarn like Dreamland, you never know what's going to pop up next, what trim is going to pop up next as you're knitting it. And it makes the whole knitting experience a really fun adventure. The first sweater I want to talk about is the one I am wearing. This is the Walking on Sunshine sweater, which is knit in our daisy chain yarn. The daisy chain yarn has little daisies hand spun throughout it, as well as bits of fabric, lace, and sparkles. It is one of our most beloved yarns here at Knit Collage. So in this pattern, it is wonderful for beginner knitters who want to try their first sweater. We are going to knit this top down. It is a raglan style, so you'll learn how to knit a raglan sweater. You'll learn how to knit twisted rib, and you'll learn how to do short rows. So some really awesome basic techniques that will serve you well as you continue on your knitting journey. If you want to customize this to be a bit longer or to have a more slim sleeve, that's easy to do. Just keep in mind you might need extra yarn or less yarn if you decide to make your own pattern changes. So that is the Walking on Sunshine sweater. It is so cute. Next up is the Enchanted Forest sweater that I wore in the first video. This is another design by Cheryl Kubat, who works all the time with us to design sweaters, and a beauty. I love the idea of wearing this with a sequin skirt like we did in our photo shoot, or just dressed down with jeans. It is so versatile. So the yarns you'll need for this are our Serenity Boucle yarns. 3 colors, a main color and 2 contrast colors. This is a very lofty brushed boucle yarn. The sweater knits up on a US 9 or a 5.5 millimeter needle. So it's still quite a big needle. And we will be learning quite a bit in this design. We will be learning how to knit a sweater from the bottom up. I will be teaching you how to read a chart and how to do color work knitting, and you'll learn how to do short rows and how to pick up stitches. So those are just some of the things, some of the techniques you'll learn in this design. It is such a showstopper. I can't wait to wear this and knit this for myself so soon. All right, so next up is the Feeling Groovy Side Tie Vest by Jen Geigley. I love this pattern. It's so versatile. It also has a great price point. So if you're thinking about joining us, this is one that will not break the bank, but also not take you too much time to knit. So let's talk about yarn. There are 2 options. You can go with a solid option that's just our Spun Cloud yarn. This is a simple bulky weight wool yarn that has 2 strands of Lurex plied around it. So it creates this really fun, bumpy texture in the yarn that is a little bit uneven. So you can do it solid like this, or you can mix it with a mini skein sampler kit. And a mini skein sampler kit is a really fun way to get to know our yarns in detail. So you get 5 mini skeins in one of these kits. Our Dreamland yarn, which is chock full of all these colors, and this is a new colorway for fall that's going to be available right in time for the fall knit along, not before. Our Castaway, our Daisy Chain, Spun Cloud, and then our Wildflower. So it's a great way to try out yarns, and also if you decide to mix them together, it's a wonderful opportunity for you to play and have fun and just get free with mixing all the yarns and colors together. So that's that. Now, let's talk about what we'll learn in this design. So as far as this design goes, it's perfect for beginners. Like I said, you have that 6-week time, but it's very quick to knit up. I've knit this in about 3 days. Before the photo shoot, I had to finish it really quickly, so it knits up really quickly. We will knit this in one piece, and you'll be casting off for the neckline, casting stitches back on for the neckline on the other side, and then picking stitches up at the end for that rib band that goes all the way around the vest and the neck. And then finally, we'll be crocheting single crochet ties along the sides. So very, very easy. You could certainly make 2 or 3 of these within one knit along, 6-week knit along experience, but also so versatile to wear. I love the idea of throwing a jacket over this and not having bulky sleeves, sweater sleeves within my jacket. That solves a problem. And putting fun shirts on underneath the solid version, or maybe a solid shirt under a more colorful mixed yarn version. So this is the Feeling Groovy Side Tie Vest. So the next design we'll be making is the road trip sweater. I designed this sweater about a year and a few months ago. I've been wanting to teach it forever, so finally we get to do it this knit along, and I'm so excited. This is the one piece that has a little bit of crochet in it, so if you've never tried crocheting before, this could be your time. This is a very small, easy way to try out crochet. So this is the road trip sweater. Like I said, these are the yarns you'll need. You're going to pick 2 colors of Spun Cloud, and you can go either tonal colors or more contrast. It's really up to you. We're gonna mix the yarns all together. And then from there, you're going to need 2 colors of our Wildflower yarn. This yarn is a cotton fabric yarn that is screen printed in Jaipur, India, all outside by hand, and then sent up to our team in Punjab, who laser cuts it and knots it into strips. So it's a fabric that we have made into yarn. And my favorite part of it is that when you're knitting it and in your project, you get to see these little pieces of print pop out from your knitting. It looks really cool and unique. So I love that. All right. So in this design, we will be crocheting granny squares, simple granny squares across the center of your sweater. So you'll learn how to do that if you're new to crochet. This could also be a great sweater if you're new to knitting too, if you know how to crochet and you want to try knitting. From there, we're going to pick up stitches and knit the top of your sweater and then the bottom of your sweater. Then we'll pick up stitches and knit your sleeves. And your sleeves are a wonderful way for you or opportunity for you to play with mixing yarns and colors that are left over. The last thing we do is crochet a scalloped edge along your neckline, a V-neck neckline, and the bottom of your sweater. So that's the road trip sweater. I'm very into it. To me, this is like the sweater you wear every day and never take off. I actually wore this all winter long. I love it so much. So I see it as just like your everywhere, everyday Saturday sweater that's still a statement, still very cool and a statement. And I love the mix of the crochet and the knitting together. So that's the road trip sweater. Okay, so next up I want to dive into our 4 bonus designs, which are all greatest hits. I am calling these the greatest hits of past knit-alongs. We're bringing them back and we're going to reknit them together in community because there is something special about making things in community and having the videos and the support as you make the project. So let's start off with the design that got the most votes in the greatest hits question in the design survey, which is the Inner Beauty cardigan. This cardigan is designed by Laurel Gerbitz and it is an absolute beauty. It is knit top down. You will do a colorwork circular yoke with increases. So I'll teach you how to do that in my video course. And then from there, we knit a bubble stitch body and sleeves. You pick up stitches for the rib band that's at the center of your cardigan and you knit them into a shawl collar. So you will learn short rows as well. This is a great design to have a video course for because there's lots of cool techniques. So that's that. For this pattern, you will use the Spun Cloud yarn and then 1 mini skein sampler kit for the yoke. And it's up to you to decide how you want the colors of that yoke to be. That's where you really get to play and have fun. So that's a great one. All right, let's dive in to the pixelated cardie next. So the pixelated cardie is a design from way back, also by Laurel Gerbitz. I think the first pattern she ever designed for us. And in this pattern, it is also top down with a colorwork yoke, and it is using our Spun Cloud for the main color and our Wildflower yarn for the contrast color. And the idea here is that you start off with more concentration in color of the Wildflower at the top, and then it slowly dissipates as you move down towards the bottom of the sweater. So it creates this really cool pixelated effect. So that's the pixelated cardie. This one is fantastic for anyone who's looking to try color work for the first time. It's a very simple color work pattern. You will be working top down, like I mentioned, learning increases, decreases in the sleeve. It's really simple, basic pattern. It doesn't take long to make either. So that's a great design to try if you're thinking about tackling your first color work sweater and have less time on your hands. Okay, so let's dive into the next design, which is the Rhinebeck cardie. So the Rhinebeck cardie we ran for the Knitalong last fall, 2023, and it was completely epic. I think the best seller from that Knitalong, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. It has this incredible statement collar, and this design is by Cheryl Kubat too, and it is just a showstopper. Every time I wear that, it is like, I get asked tons of questions. So in this design, you will choose from a solid version in our Spun Cloud yarn, or you can choose a version with a mixed mini skein kit collar. And that is just if you want a more fun collar, a really fun option. You can really throw it over anything because it's detachable and rock it. So this design is very quick to knit up. It's all garter stitch. It's a great first sweater pattern if you're thinking about making your first sweater but want your first sweater to be extra statement. It's a great one. I mentioned the collar is detachable, so you can wear it without the collar or with the collar, depending on how you're feeling. It is a beauty. All right, next up is the Kaleidoscope sweater. This is a perennial favorite here at Knit Collage. It is by Laurel Gervitz again. And in this sweater, simple top-down design, and you will be mixing in all the yarns here. So 2 different mini skein sampler kits. That looks like something like this. You'll have 1 skein of Spun Cloud with 2 different mini skein sampler kits. And what's so fun about this is that you get to mix and match the yarns throughout your sweater however you want. I do not tell you how to do this. It's up to you to decide how you want these mixed in throughout your project. It's so fun. So the Kaleidoscope sweater is one that is a huge favorite from the community. I have knit probably like 20 of them because it's so much fun to explore color and texture, almost as a color and texture study through each sweater that I make. And I just give them away. I love them. All right, so those are all 4 of our greatest hit bonus designs. You'll get the video course on how to make those as well. If these styles seem scary or complicated, please do not worry. There is so much help and support that is baked into the way that these knit-alongs are set up and run. And that's truly what makes them so unique and special. Please do not miss the blog post accompanying this video. I'm gonna link to that below with all the fit, sizing details, all the color options available so you can choose early, plus the pricing details. So we usually run out of some colorways really quickly. So if you're able to, if you have the bandwidth and the time, head on over to that blog post and choose your color early, ask me a question about fit and size, and I'll be happy to answer that anytime to help you out. If you already have yarn that you have hand spun, or you have stashed at home, or you want to join from somewhere that's tricky or expensive to ship to, I want to encourage you to join us virtually. It's a great option for people in that boat, and I have more details on that in the blog. So now that we've explored how being part of a supportive community can transform your knitting journey, you might be wondering what comes next. So in our upcoming video, I'm going to dive deep into the special events that I have planned that revolve around creativity, self-care, and slowing down. It's completely non-preachy, so feel free to opt into these events or not. We'll dive into them and I'll tell you all about them in that next video. So within that video, I also plan to share stories from fellow knitters who have experienced remarkable changes, not just in their knitting skills, but also in their overall well-being and creativity. You'll get a glimpse into the joy and satisfaction that comes from being part of a community that lifts you up and helps you achieve your knitting dreams, no matter how big or small they might be. And I'll share exactly how to get involved and join in this knit-along. Before we wrap up today's video, I have just one small action for you to take. In the comments below, I would love to hear which of these 8 designs excites you the most. You can, of course, choose more than one. I will be knitting at least 4, maybe more. I can't wait to hear about what projects you're excited to tackle and to see how our community and our team here at Knit Collage can support you in making those dreams a reality. Additionally, if you have any specific questions or challenges, this could be about sizing or prices, please feel free to share those in the comments or send me a direct email, amy@knitcollage.com, and I will be so happy to help you out. So go ahead and share your thoughts below. Which design is calling to you? Do you have a question about size or fit? Happy knitting, and I can't wait to dive into the final and 3rd video in a few days.